friends, it's Miss Sarah, and today I'm going to read the beginning of The Hero's Guide to Saving Your Kingdom by Christopher Healy for our first chapter Friday. So, have you ever heard of Prince Liam, Prince Frederick, Prince Duncan, or Prince Gustav? You probably haven't. You probably know each of them as Prince Charming, the prince that saved Rapunzel, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, and Cinderella. Unfortunately, these princesses are kind of sick of their princes, so they kick them out of the kingdom. So while they're out there, they find out an evil plot that could destroy each of their kingdoms. But they realize that they're not really princes, so they have to band together and really become heroic dragon fighting princes so that they can save their kingdom and win back their princesses. Now, this is a great story if you like alternative fairy tales and if you like humor, because this is a really funny book. So I'm going to read the prologue, and it's titled Things You Don't Know About Prince Charming. Prince Charming is afraid of old ladies. Didn't know that, did you? Don't worry, there's a lot you don't know about Prince Charming. Prince Charming has no idea how to use a sword. Prince Charming has no patience for dwarves. Prince Charming has an irrational hatred of capes. Some of you may not even realize that there's more than one Prince Charming, and that none of them are actually named Charming. No one is. Charming isn't a name, it's an adjective. But don't blame yourself for your lack of Prince Charming-based knowledge. Blame the lazy bards. You see, back in the day, bards and minstrels were the world's only real source of news. It was they who bestowed fame upon people. They were the ones who sculpted any hero's or villain's reputation. Whatever something big happened, a damsel was rescued, a dragon was slain, a curse was broken, the royal bards would write a song about it, and their wandering minstrels would perform that tune from land to land, spreading the story across multiple kingdoms. But the bards weren't keen on details. They didn't think it was important to include the names of the heroes who did all that damsel rescuing, dragon slaying, and curse breaking. They just called all those guys Prince Charming. It didn't even matter to the bards whether the person in question was a truly daring hero, like Prince Liam, who battled his way past a bone-crushing, fire-blasting, magical monster in order to free a princess from an enchanted sleeping spell, or some guy who merely happened to be in the right place at the right time, like Prince Duncan, who also woke a princess from a sleeping spell, but only because some dwarves told him to. No, those bards gave a man the same generic name whether he nearly died, like Prince Gustav, who was thrown from a 90-foot tower when he tried to rescue Rapunzel, or simply impressed a girl with his dancing skills, like Prince Frederick, who wowed Cinderella at a royal ball. If there was anything that Liam, Duncan, Gustav, and Frederick all had in common, it was that none of them were very happy about being a Prince Charming. Their mutual hatred of that name was a big part of what brought them together. Not that teaming up was necessarily the best idea for these guys. If we were to peek ahead to, say, chapter 20, we would see our heroes in a small town called Flaggerstag, sitting in just about the worst tavern in all of creation, the Stumpy Boarhound. The Stumpy Boarhound is the kind of dank and miserable place where pirates and assassins play cards while plotting their next despicable crimes, which often involve robbing the tavern itself. It's not the type of place where you would expect to find even one Prince Charming, let alone 4. And yet in chapter 20, there they all are, Liam, bruised and soot-stained, with fish bones in his hair, Gustav in charred and dented armor, massaging his bald, bright red scalp, Frederick, covered with enough dirt to make you think he just crawled out of a grave, and Duncan, with a big bump on his forehead and wearing, is that a nightshirt? Oh, and there are about 50 armed thugs surrounding their table, all of whom seem eager to smash the princes into paste. Of course, by chapter 20, you can't fault the princes for looking like wrecks. They're lucky to be alive after their run-ins with the witch, the giant, the bandits, well, you'll see. Basically, the fact that they're about to get into a major brawl is none too surprising, considering the kind of week these princes have just had, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Before we reach that turning point night at the Stumpy Boarhound, we need to head back to the peaceful kingdom of Harmonia, where the whole adventure, or mess, depending on whom you ask, began, we have to go back to when Prince Frederick managed to lose Cinderella. So that's the prologue of The Hero's Guide to Saving Your Kingdom. If you'd like to learn more about these princes and what they're going to do in that brawl, just give us a call or come check it out at the library. Thanks, guys. Have a great Friday.